I need to do this video, the therapeutic release. I wanted to wait until I was in positive or better or different spirits before I attempted to talk about this because I remember when I spoke on what happened to me when I had to deal with the police. That got very passionate. Um, it's a lot of screaming and hollering in the camera. And while I, definitely think that those emotions um, are relevant, you know, I don't always want to communicate from that space. So recently, hey Shamika, Shamanika, I think that's it. Yeah, so recently I booked a ticket to go to Oklahoma because um I'm spending more time there with my father's side of the family, one of my fathers, because I do have two. Um, and so whenever I get ready to travel there, because I always have a lot of things with me, because my art is very valuable to me. My art means a lot to me, and I want to store more of my art in Oklahoma. Um, I'm typically when I'm traveling there, I have a lot of bags. And so rather than fly and have to pay for all of that extra baggage on a flight, because sometimes flights can be pricey. And then when you're trying to get baggage on as well, it's a lot. But and I like traveling, I like seeing the countryside. It gives me time to write poetry, it gives me time to work on things, typically when I'm on Amtrak. The reason why I don't take Amtrak to Oklahoma from Atlanta is because it's extremely expensive. And not only that, it goes out of the way. So it's like one day turns into 2 days. So it's costing too much for it to take me out of the way. So Amtrak is not a good fit when we're talking about traveling from Atlanta to Oklahoma. So I take Greyhound because it's the only way to go where I could carry all this luggage and it's not an obscene price, and and it's not taking me forever to get there. I mean, it's still like 19 hours, the shortest trip, but if I leave at 5 in the evening, then I'll arrive at like 11 the next day. So it doesn't feel like a lot of time has been lost because it's evening time. You're winding down 5. Typically you'd be off work or you'd be coming in, if you're an older person at around 5, you'd be coming in to settle in. Yeah, that's what I was just talking about, Amtrak. So typically you would, be coming in to settle in, but but um so that night you be resting, right? So and then by the time you the next day starts at 11 o'clock, you're in Oklahoma. But the issue that I've been having with every time that I've gone to Oklahoma from Atlanta is that, for one, the bus is always late. So a lot of times I end up having to reschedule the bus. So when I have to reschedule the bus, that means I have to take a Uber back to come back the next day and then take a Uber back to get back the next day. Now, this is where my issue comes in with Greyhound, specifically in Atlanta, because I've taken Greyhound from New Orleans to Georgia. I think, well, I take Amtrak from New Orleans to New York. I love Amtrak. The food is pricey, not really that many healthy choices, but I would choose the train over because you have better lighting to work with. It's just a more peaceful experience. The bathrooms are cleaner, but I consider myself, to have a little bit of a soldier mentality. So, sometimes when you gotta take, Greyhound, I like the China bus. I know one thing, I'm not gonna use the bathroom on the China bus ever, but the China bus is pretty reliable when it comes to getting you. You just hold it until the stops, But China bus is reliable when it comes to time. China bus is gonna come when they say they're gonna come. They're gonna leave when they say they're gonna leave. So the only thing that you'll mess up with is if you are late. With Flexbus and China bus, it's typically you need to be there on time. Now Flexbus is smaller, and I don't trust the bathrooms on any of the buses. I'm just not gonna use them. Um, yeah, yeah, and yeah, Amtrak chargers do work better. Their internet is not really that good though. So, I'm making this video because I want to really just hold myself accountable about the Greyhound. You know, I want something different from myself in 2023. Um, I'm not gonna put myself in spaces where people are gonna be able to talk to me how they want to talk to me. It's not even about the bus, because at the end of the day, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We know the bathroom's nasty. We know that some of the employees are overworked and underpaid. We know that they're dealing with a whole bunch of different type of personalities. You're dealing with immigrants who don't speak English. You're dealing with a culture that operates on a certain vibration. Now, I'm not here to say whether that vibration is low or high, but I'm just gonna say that in these spaces, there's a certain type of people gravitate to spaces where the prices are not as expensive as they are on, say, a flight or the train. Okay, so you're dealing with a different caliber, you're dealing with a different frequency of human beings, and you're also dealing with people who may have language barriers, people who may have barriers to just how much knowledge or information they hold. And so it may be a certain kind of way they communicate with you that may not always, be sensitive to your needs as a person. So while I was in the train station, okay, so I had to reschedule my ticket. The last time this happened to me, I was stranded in Memphis. Thank goodness, I have community and family there. I was able to go by my TD Renee's house when the bus, missed its stop and it didn't come in time, and we missed our connection and all that. And I humbled myself. I took that. I was like, oh, okay, we got a good experience out of it. I got to go to Memphis for the first time because I had never been to Memphis before. Got to hang out with my auntie Titi. Got to visit, the stomping grounds of Francis Thompson, who was amazing. Trans person who had showed up in history during the Reconstruction period. So I was able to have that experience. So I took the bitter with the sweet. I took the good with the bad, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take the bus again this time. And my ancestors are just like set on it. They're like, you are not going to ride this bus anymore. You're not getting on this bus anymore. And I think part of me is struggling with that because it's like, um, I do want to maneuver in different spaces. I do want to have access to different spaces. I do want to socialize with a different caliber of human being, but I also don't want to become the very things that I don't like about what I consider to be bougie and elite. Like I don't want to lose myself in having to change how I move, in having to in having to change from maneuvering in certain spaces. I don't want to just become a part of the problem, and so I think that's a fear. Like, I've continued to navigate certain spaces because I felt those spaces kept me grounded, like the Greyhound. You're on the bus, you're riding, and you're having these conversations, and you're meeting people, and y'all going through, y'all relating on life's challenges. You standing in line, sharing some camaraderie, complaining about how long the person is taking to get y'all on the bus. Like, y'all, you just kind of like sharing this grounding banter you know, um, as human beings who are part of the working class, or people who are part of um who are not a part of the 1%, like being able to just like, have that connection to remind you, hey, you're not going through this stuff by yourself. Because a lot of times in the airport, you really don't hit it off with people like that. Like, I can't really think of, like, it hasn't been too many times I've been on a plane and I just started chopping it up with the person next to me on my flight. But typically, when you're on a bus for a long period of time, it does inspire some type of dialogue or some type of conversation. And so, for those very reasons, I have tried not to move away from using the bus as a mode of transportation when I'm traveling long distances. But the ancestors have really, really like put their foot down. Like, I spent $132 on the ticket and I had to eat it. I had to eat it. Like, I can't get my money back, and I'm not gonna use the voucher. Because I'm not going to put myself through that again. The way that I was talked to in that station, the way, and what hurts me the most and what bothers me the most is, how to deal with, I'm not going to say I know how to deal with it, because I just had a Caucasian woman who I was, who I have a relationship with, to talk to me crazy a couple of months ago. And I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't ready for that either. It got nasty. You know what I'm saying? We had an exchange, we had words. And but when you have that exchange with Caucasian people, or when you have this exchange with people who do not mirror your direct ancestry, then I feel like we're a little bit more prepared for it than we are when it's someone who we could see them as our cousin, or we could see them as our sibling. And this happens to me often in Atlanta. That's why, with this Jason Lee story, with what this guy is talking about, the food critic, when he talks about the culture when he comes here, it's like there's this attitude from the working class who are aspiring to be the bourgeois and the elite. There's this attitude towards people. They're like, you're less than me, so I could talk to you any kind of way I want to, you catching a bus, you can't have that much resources, you catching a Greyhound, like, so I could talk to you any kind of way. They're used to dealing with people who don't speak good English, or people who are really just basically scraping up, money, scraping up pennies to try to get to the next destination on the road. People coming in, they ain't even got suitcases. Some of them got garbage bags. Y'all so used to dealing with people like that. It's become, it's like almost giving you license to talk to everybody like garbage, to talk to everybody with disrespect. One of the workers actually told me, you don't get what you want. Since when I don't get what I want if that's what I paid for? Like, how you gonna tell me when I can get my ticket for the bus leave out at multiple times a day? You gonna tell me that I have to take the next available bus? No, I don't. Put me on the bus that I ask you to put me on. If it's seats available, then put me on that bus. Don't tell me I have to accept what you give me. Like, you're not gonna talk to me like that and think that it's okay. You're not gonna then even threaten to call security on me. Mind you, I have the video recorded. Wasn't yelling and screaming at this woman, didn't get loud with this woman, talk to this woman calmly. You didn't want to have anything to do with me. You didn't want to help me. You didn't want to help me. You didn't want to offer a surface service to me. But then when you saw me having complications with your coworker, that's when you all of a sudden felt the need to want to step up and want to communicate. That was when you felt the need to want to interject. All the other times where you could have helped me, serviced me so that things could have actually went properly, you were quiet. You were doing the Beyonce mute challenge then. But the moment you saw me having conflict or having an exchange with your coworker, that's when you decided to insert yourself into the conversation and then start yelling at me and saying, "Oh, you don't have to explain yourself to her. You don't have to keep going backwards and forwards with her. You don't have to do any of that. She said what she said. It's over with. We're moving on. We're done." Security. That's how you dealt with me. And so, you know what? I remained calm. I wrote several emails and I ate the ticket. But you know how the old folks say it cost me this much to not be bothered with it again? And that's pretty much why I'm making the video, is because I'm not going to continue to put myself in spaces where people are disrespecting me. I'm not going to keep on settling. I was watching DL Hughley talk about the Jason Lee situation and talking about how the younger generation, they're not going along with things the way we did. They're taking um mental health days. You know, if something is not working for them, then they're not going to keep on, being a part of it. They're not going to keep on sewing into that. And let me tell you something. I'm not a part of the younger generation, but I definitely want to pat myself on the back for being a part of the generation that really started moving toward that direction, so these younger children could be maneuvering in the way that they're maneuvering. Cause I'm not doing it either. I'm not just gonna go along to get along. I'm not fixing to just support it because it's black owned or because black people work there. Because you'll find that a lot of times in places like Atlanta, that black people will be the first people that you see when you're entering the building or entering the establishment, and you automatically think that you're gonna be safe because there's black people all around you, and that's not the case. Now, mind you, I am of the mind that home, or like when you feel at home in a space, feeling at home is not just about you feeling sanctuary, or you feeling oasis, or you feeling peace. Home should prepare you. Home should prepare you for whatever it is that you're going out there to do. So while I do think that home needs to have a balance. Home shouldn't just be a place where you kick off your shoes and relax your feet and party on down to the escape beat, just kicking it. Party home should also be a place that tests you. And so I understand that sometimes, as black people, as black indigenous people, it is our job to prepare one another. It is our job to test each other. It is our job to challenge each other. But when you call me out on my stuff, when you call me in, or when you speak to me about some things that I may have overlooked, or a misstep that I may have made, or an oversight that I may have made, it goes both ways. This is not just you checking me, and I feel like that happens a lot when we have people who look like us, who are a part of these institutions that are responsible for our oppression. We go into these spaces, and while they're on the clock, they got these institutions backing them. These institutions have become home for them because you was real snazzy with Greyhound behind you, because you're a Greyhound employee, and all your coworkers gonna stick by your side. All your coworkers gonna uphold you, and so you real snazzy with Greyhound as a corporation behind you. But then you get off the clock and you want to remember that you black first. But when you on the clock, it's okay for you to inflict and cause harm because you're backed by this institution to do that. So it's for me. This is like a complex topic because it's a lot of layers. It's a lot of layers to it, and I'm trying to learn how to express my discontent, and I'm trying to learn how to express upset or disappointed feelings without necessarily having to just go whole hog and just cuss people out and yell at people. I was so happy at the way that I responded to that because I know if they'd have caught me at the right time on the right day, maybe after I had had a sip, or maybe if I had smoked a little bit too much, I could have went to jail. Could have definitely went to jail. Could have definitely. But I ate it. I ate it. And I feel like because I was able to eat it, I think that the ancestors are seeing, oh, okay, they ready. They looking at me and they saying, okay, they ready. They ready. Okay, we can open some more doors. We can we could put them in some more. Now, mind you, when I'm in hoodish spaces, I still give a little bit of that when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So if you put me around a whole bunch of ratchet people, you put me around a whole bunch of trappish ghettoish people, and you think that a little bit of trap not gonna come out me, I don't know what to tell you, boo. I don't know what to tell you, boo. I'm a work in progress. I'm still on the potter's wheel, baby. If you put me in the trap, you might get a little bit of trap. You might get some trap energy. I don't I ain't got so good that I could be in the trap and not reflect the trap. That's why Greyhound give me a little bit of the trap. And I'm trying not to be on that trap vibe because that trap will get you trapped. Hey man, they want me. You be in the trap, I be's in the trap. The trap will get you. The trap will get you trapped. 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 Be waiting on feed up and everything. The trap will get you trapped. So I'm trying to stop. Well, I'm not trying. I am adamantly working on changing how I maneuver, even in the trap, even when I'm in trap spaces, even when I'm in spaces that are designed to get me trapped. I'm working. I'm working. It's hard. I waited to do this video. I wanted to do this video 2 days ago. And if I would have did this video 2 days ago, it would have been a whole bunch of different energy. And the reason why I have to do the video is because I'm eating the ticket. I've accepted the fact that I lost $132. I've accepted it through my burning rituals, through burning money. I am able to have more peace with it. I am able to accept the loss. But if I am going to accept the loss, I still need to be able to communicate my disappointment. I still need to be able to communicate my discontent. I still need to be able to express how this experience has made me feel. Because I'm not finna walk around here keeping it all bottled up inside and being bitter at the next person and having resentment at the next person because I didn't address what was going on in me. I'm learning the trap will get you trapped. That's right. That's right. And that Greyhound is a trap space for me. That's your trap. That's your trap space. I'm learning, and that's a trap space I'm not going to take with me into the new year. A lot of these spaces, unfortunately, that, when you walk into them, have people look like you and me working in every location in the place, whether it's on the streets in the hood or whether it's an institution, a lot of these spaces where our people be everywhere, from the door all the way up and around, trap spaces. And this the thing that I've learned. See, if I was to compare, and I'm gonna close out with this, if I was to compare New Orleans to Atlanta, this is what I would say is the difference between New Orleans and Atlanta. And this is why when I came home from Africa the first time, my flight was to New Orleans, but I stopped in Atlanta because I didn't feel comfortable going straight to New Orleans because I didn't feel like New Orleans was going to give me the same welcome that I would have gotten in Atlanta. Now that I'm looking back on hindsight of that, and the reason why I felt like that is because there is more Africans who have settled in Atlanta than Africans that have settled in Louisiana or settled in New Orleans. There's a lot of Africans who have settled in Atlanta. And so when you think of African culture, like when you've exposed yourself to African culture, you know that Africans there are some Africans very dark skinned. This ain't got nothing to do with mulatto. Like when you normally think of money and when you normally think of access in Louisiana or in New Orleans in particular, you think of the mulattoes, you think of the Creole people, you think of these mixed race, looking individuals. Even though we know that there's generational wealth in New Orleans, we know that there's beings there who are dark skinned, who have gained generational wealth, for centuries in Louisiana and in New Orleans. But in Atlanta, the generational wealth, the old money, is more popular amongst darker skinned people, but also there's more African influence here. And so when we start talking about I had my DNA checked and you start seeing tribes popping up in your blood. Well, immigrant Africans have been coming over to this country for centuries. So why wouldn't you be able to see some African blood in your direct DNA, especially in Atlanta? Especially in Atlanta. And so it's a different type of Negro in Atlanta. It's a different type of black person in Atlanta because there's more of an African influence. And I don't mean this Africans that got off these slave ships. I'm talking about a direct African influence that has continuously. This is a major port in the country for African people. This is a major port in our country for African people. This is a major port. Atlanta brings in a lot of African people, And so I think that would be the difference between culturally. And I think the reason why I felt more welcome coming back into Georgia after coming back from New Orleans, after coming back from Africa, was because intuitively I understood that. I understood that there's more of that type of energy here. But that energy can also be very classist. It can also be very elitist because there are Africans who will legit look down their nose at you. I don't know who this is, but this better be important. I'm gonna get off the live. I'm getting a call. Talk to y'all later. Yeah, but I guess that was a quick call. That was a quick call. But let me go ahead and get off this live. Like I think I've been there. I think I did well. I think I expressed my concerns and I did it without, having to go on a rampage. I needed to get that off my chest. So I am not bringing Greyhound into 2024 with me. I'm good. I'm good. It's certain spaces that I'm just not gonna maneuver in. I'm not gonna feel bad about it. I'm identifying trap spaces. You should come to Cali one day. I have been to Cali before. I actually been out there a couple of times. I've been to San Diego. I've been to Oakland. We took a ride out to Los Angeles. So I visited Los Angeles. I've been to Oakland and I've been to San Diego. I actually loved San Diego. California is so beautiful. Um the thing about California is from the brief moments that I've been there, I feel like people are extremely vain and narcissistic. And I'm already a little vain and slightly narcissistic and egotistical. I don't think I really need no help with that. I don't think I really need any more of that. I think I'm trying to minimize the egotisticalness and the vanity, and like I'm trying to get that tempered a little bit more. I'm not trying to boost that. And I feel like California is just gonna have me. Cause like I be looking at some of the people that I follow, and this is kind of off topic. But I'm really like I'm following 19 Keys, and I think that he is a super intelligent and disciplined person, but that ego is huge. And I be listening to him talk, and I be like, it be making me want to shut up. Like I be like, damn, do I be sounding like that in some of my videos? Like, do I be sounding that arrogant? Like, like literally, I be wanting to shut up because it's like I just be wanting to not say nothing else because I be looking at some of these intelligent black men who be like doing these 2 and 3 hour long conversations where they be trying to enlighten us. And because I'm a language person, I'm a sentence person, I when I hear sentences, because I'm so it's my intent, and this is one way that I really do feel like I connect with Laverne Cox. Because when Laverne Cox speaks, you could tell she's intentional about every word she uses. And so she thinks before she speaks. And she pauses in between words because she's really trying to think about what she's going to say next. And so it's like every word that comes out of her mouth is intentional. And I live for that. But when I hear 19 Keys talk, it's like confidence. It's like super, 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 super confident. And I think like in our confidence, sometimes we come off as like 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 it's like a superiority thing. It's like like even using the word higher level. Like for me, does higher necessarily mean better? If something costs more or it's a higher price, if you pay more, if it's higher, does that always mean it's better? And so when I think in terms of higher, is higher always better? Like there are situations where higher is not always better. When you're um, higher off the ground, for example, if you're an elderly person and you have certain handicaps and you live on the 12th floor, is living higher up better for you? Like just because of how my brain works, like when I hear the word higher, I don't automatically think better. I don't automatically think right because it's higher. I don't automatically think this is the creme de la creme. This is what we've all been looking for. when I hear the word higher. You're on a higher frequency. You're on a higher we're our higher self. I don't okay. Okay. Like it doesn't do that for me, you know. So and I noticed like that's the vibe we've gotten on. You know, a lot of our teachers and a lot of our healers, they use that word. I'm on a higher frequency, higher consciousness, higher level. Okay, okay. This is giving 1% vibes. It's giving it's giving oppressor vibes. It's giving the vibes, like, you know, and that's just for me. That's for my personal understanding. You know, they talked about. I'm watching a video that he did with this with one of his elders, and they're talking about the unks, and they're talking about the secrets of the unks, and he addressed um he addressed androgyny, you know. Um, and when he addressed androgyny, um, I don't know. I just feel like, and I was telling my daughter this the other day, and I was telling one of my close male friends this the other day. Well, today, um, I think that life is like a puzzle, and I think that part of me is capable of fitting in areas that you may not fit in, but the other part of me fits with you. Or you know, just like an example, parts of me fit in certain places, and the other part of me may not fit in that place, but it may fit in this place. And so I can connect this group with this group because of the piece that I play. And this happens with other people as well. You may fit in areas that I don't fit in, but the other half of you fits in spaces that I fit in. And so this is how we all connect each other. This is how we all work as a network. This is how we all create a current, because my piece is designed to fit into a space that could connect. You know, I don't think harmony is all of us being able to be in the same space together and get along. I think harmony is finding the place that you fit so that you could help to keep the current flowing. I think that is what harmony is. I think harmony is not all of us trying to believe in the exact same thing or fit into the exact same place or be on the exact same frequency, but more so us understanding that this is building, you know, whether it's going up or whether it's going down. It is, we need each other to do this. We need each other. You know, this it's a building, you know, and it also has to come down. And so everyone has this position that they play, and they connect and they keep the flow going. You know, it's not about submission, it's like a dance, you know. I don't have to submit to you. I was listening to somebody explain um why masculinity is supposed to lead and why femininity is supposed to submit. Understand this. If we are if we are all masculine and we are all feminine, which we are, if we all come from seed and egg, which we do, then that means that when you say femininity needs to submit, that means that the femininity in your man self, in your manhood, in your man centered self needs to know when to submit, because you are part feminine too. And so that means that your femininity has to be able to submit at times as well. Just because you were born with a penis Just because you identify with manhood doesn't mean that there is not a part of you that needs to be able to submit, because you come from the mother and the father. Even the Bible says, honor your mother and your father, and thy days shall be long upon this earth. Honor your mother and father. When you read the 42 principles of Ma'at, it says, honor your mother and your father. So that means honor the masculine and the feminine within yourself, and you'll be on, for me, it means you'll be on an eternal frequency. Honor wholeness, honor yourself. So you can't say that a woman is supposed to submit. You can't say that that femininity is supposed to submit without acknowledging that the femininity within yourself needs to submit. Now, if you're saying that you're all man, which makes no sense at all, but we'll pretend that it does. If you're saying that you're all man, and so you don't have to submit because you're all man, then that means that masculinity must learn how to submit. That means that masculinity too must know, because it's not about somebody just automatically submitting because of how they were born or how they were designed. Submitting means, okay, you have a strength in this area. You know how to do this. So intuitively, which is a feminine trait, I'm going to use my intuition to know when it's time for me to allow you to guide this, or it's time for me to support you, rather than saying allow, because I don't like the way that sounded. But I'm going to support you now as guiding this, because you're better equipped to guide us in this particular area. So it's a dance that we learn how to do. A man, a woman. It's submission is not necessary just because you're a female, just because you're a feminine. Like, we have to do better than this with language. And I'm totally here for the conversation. Um, Totally here for diving deeper into that. But you're not just finna, piss on my back and tell me it's sweet tea. Okay. But anyway, that's all I got for this video. I pay attention. I pay attention. I'm very good at listening, and I continue to work on that. I continue to work on and develop my listening skills. But yeah, this it's a no for me in the future of going to certain spaces. I'm staying out of trap spaces, working on staying out of trap spaces in 2024. I love y'all. Y'all have a good day. Down but now that I say cool, it keeps spinning and turning. Ian Gani, Iyanko Kalukalo, which means that I am a child of God Goddess. And if I am, you know you are. Y'all take care of yourselves, and I love you. And until next time.